All right, man, I'm back again. Thank y'all for bearing with me because it was just so much. I wish I could got all in one video, but like I was saying, at this point in the film, everybody was taking sides. If you're a fan of Cap, you're probably gonna be a little bit more solidified in Cap. If you actually lean towards how Tony felt, then you'll probably be that same way too. Like I was saying, they just sprung um, Scarlet Witch from her prison, basically, which was the Avengers facility, from Vision, um, and it left the movie in a crossroads. So there were parts where um, there was deliberation, but this time it went to straight recruitment. Um, Hawkeye recruits Ant-Man. He picks up Ant-Man and brings Ant-Man to Steve Rogers, and that's where you see that maybe you've seen it in the trailers or whatnot, where they have that little interaction where he says thanks for thinking of me and all that stuff like that, and touches his pecs and stuff. And yeah. Oh, okay. This is something important because it just reminded me because in that clip he does say, "So we're hunting like super assassins or something of that nature." So after I got to go back and cover this real quick. After Bucky freaks out, he ends up waking up or coming back to his right mind, and he's like, he sees the destruction that he's caused and all that stuff like that, and he explains to them what's going on because Zemo is questioning him about the super soldier stuff. So that's why Captain America believes him, and they give him another chance after he just spazzes on everybody. But Tony and them, they were on the other end of that, so why would they believe that? And that's believable right there. So their mission is to stop Zemo from going to reactivate those soldiers because that's where Bucky informs them of how dangerous these super soldiers are, and there are five of them. And like I said, it's from the five super soldier serums that he extracted from Tony Stark's parents in the other video. And first and foremost, I should have said this, but spoiler alert, if you're watching this from part two or from part one, then you understand that there are spoilers involved. But if you just click on this one first, then I'm sorry I didn't give you the spoiler warning, but this is spoiler territory. So you can click off, probably done messed up your movie or your mood. I'm sorry. But anyways, he informs them about how dangerous they are. So now to get back to it, they start recruiting, and that's when they recruit Paul Rudd, Ant Man, and Ant Man is um, a well-needed punch of humor in the film because the film is tense. You seeing characters that you care about. They're fighting, they're arguing, they're disliking each other. The film is tense, and it's humor, but it's not like it is kind of intentional. Obviously, everything that's in this movie was almost intentional, unless it was improv. But the humor is appropriate. It's not like that typical Marvel humor that everybody tries to knock them on. No. So they talk about it, and they basically devise a plan to get to that area where the super soldiers are, and their plan is to go to the airport and or yeah, they're in Germany. Go to like an airport or something like that, and bum a ride or find a ride to get to wherever the I can't think. It's somewhere cold, man. I don't know. It's just like where the Hydra base was. I don't know. I forgot to write that down. I got my notes from the movie right here. But anyways, I just didn't write that down, so I failed y'all. That's my bad. Um, but yeah, so they recruit Ant Man, and on Tony's side, Tony has to recruit as well. So that's where we get introduced to Peter Parker, and Tom Holland does him excellent. Like he's great in that sense. So Marissa Tomei, that's the new Aunt May, the one that says like in her 40s now and stuff. But she's cute. Um, she's a milf for real. So they like I said in the other review, they do flashcards of where they are. We met Zemo in Cleveland. We meet Captain and them in this movie on Lagos or whatnot. and then it flashes to Queens. Then immediately the crowd knows, like we're like, oh no, we're there, we're here to see Peter Parker. So Peter comes home, and Tony is already sitting to his aunt, and he's lying to his aunt, basically saying that Peter applied for a grant, and he got accepted for the grant, and they're playing along with each other, and you can tell that Peter, he doesn't know, but neither does his aunt. So he's like, yeah, I applied. He's like, what exactly did I apply for? Does it give money and all that stuff like that? And yeah, so you see that playful banter, and then they go into his room where they start discussing it, and he pulls up footage. He pulls up footage of uh, Peter in his homemade suit, and the homemade suit is cool. It's like YouTube footage and security footage. And then Tony remarks about how he made a tensile strength his webbing, and how it was awesome and all that stuff like that. And he kind of convinces Peter to work with him and come under his wing. And he finds his homemade suit, and you see it briefly, and he tries to hide it and all that stuff like that. And Peter just tells him about like it's just a funny scene, like, and Peter just tells him about like how it's all new to him, and how he's receiving this information is kind of overloading him. So that's why you see the dilating eye suit that Tony built, because Tony built that suit. And so yeah, that was great. They had natural chemistry. I'm glad that Robert Downey Jr. signed on to be into the solo Spider-Man film, because it just gives connectivity to these films. But now the stakes are set, and they are meeting at the airport. Something got in my eye. All right. So they're meeting at the airport. They're talking, and basically they're saying, look, we have to get to this jet to do what we need to do. You have to believe us. If you don't believe us, we're going to go through you. And that's when the conflict starts. And that's when you see the underoos and all that stuff like that, like underoos. And he calls them in. And that was one of the big moments in our theater where Spider-Man comes on screen for the first time, and it's just dope to watch. He steals Cap's shield, and you see it, and you're like, Cap's like, okay, he's kind of annoying. But before the fight begins, AntMan is on Cap's shield, so he kind of not blows up. What does he do? He shrinks. He unshrinks to a regular human size, and he kind of throws Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, off balance, and he gets his shield back. And then the lineups are set, so you see them, they're lined up against each other or whatnot. And then that's when one of the best action sequences I've ever seen just happens on screen. And they're like, you see the people being tactical about it, like, let's take out the flying people first and all this stuff like that. And just to not spoil the whole thing, because I know I said I was going to speak on spoilers, but I still feel like you should watch it. But Peter as Spider-Man was, besides Ant-Man and or Giant Man in this movie, Peter during the action scenes was the funniest. It was the highlight, because he did like how he does in the comics. He talks. He talks too much. And it was funny to watch, because you rarely see that in Spider-Man movies, where you see a good Peter Parker where he's young, smart, and he's still like kind of funny and all this stuff like that, an awkward teenager. And then you have the more confident Spider-Man. So Spider-Man they're all running to get to this jet, and they're all fighting each other and stuff like that. And Bucky and the Falcon are running with each other, and all of a sudden, my low power mode came on. I thought it was something crazy. Spider-Man is running on the outside, and they were like, and Falcon makes a comment. He's like, man, everybody's got a gimmick, and that makes the crowd laugh or whatever. But they start fighting when they're inside, and Spider-Man is analyzing Falcon's wings. These are carbon fiber wings and stuff like that. It's awesome. He was talking about the ratio, just showing that he's still a kid genius and stuff, and that was dope, man. But it's also jarring too because like he's a skinny kid and he's blocking punches from the Winter Soldier, and he's punching these people, and they're expecting it like to not be as strong as he is. So that was just an amazing contrast. He also shows his age because when Ant-Man turns Giant Man, everybody's like, Iron Man was like, is there anybody? Iron Man makes some comments like, is there anybody else that has some kind of secret thing that they want to just show to everybody or whatnot? And Giant Man was just like huge, like he was huge and lumbering and powerful, and he kicked stuff like he felt like he had weight. And I think it was cool because Paul was like, Ant-Man, he was like, I've never done this before. I've done it in a lab maybe. I could be torn apart. And it was just like, oh God, hopefully he doesn't mess up. But he does it, and he wrecks shop. And like I said, Spider-Man, he just shows like his youth, and he's like, he makes a Star Wars reference about the AT-ATs or AT-ATs, however you say it. I say AT-AT. But he starts swinging around and all and stuff like that. Eventually, after Giant Man's been wrecking around for the longest, and he swings around his legs, and he makes him fall. Or no, he makes him lose his balance. And then that's when Iron Man and War Machine come in and punch the shit out of Giant Man. And it's to the point where he just falls down, and then he ends up shrinking, and he's like, can I get orange pills or whatever? But there's just well-paired fights. I wanted to talk about Spider-Man because I know a lot of people wanted to know about Spider-Man. I only got a couple more minutes, so I'm not gonna make another video. But like, there were well-paired fights in the airport sequence. I'm not gonna tell you everything, but let's just say Bucky and Cap finally get to the Quinjet, so they can go to where the secret soldiers are, or the super soldiers and stuff. And there's like a moment where you're like, wait, I can't let you do this, stuff like that. And you're like, okay, this is another roadblock, but it's actually a double cross. You'll see it in the theaters, and then you will thank me later that I didn't tell you that, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So to fast forward to the end, because I didn't talk about Zemo, which sucks. Maybe I'll do it another time, but to fast forward to the end, they get to where they are, meaning Steve and Bucky, and the people who were on Captain's side were placed into the raft, which you may have seen in the video or the trailers. And I think I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about making another video, but if not, I just wanted to leave y'all with, the movie is great. The villain is a little not underdeveloped. He just seems a little paper thin or whatnot. But one of the three standouts that you could take away from it, because those are the ones that I talked about the most, I feel like, were definitely Black Panther, because he's just visually striking to see. Like, it's just amazing to watch him. You'll see exactly what I mean. Spider-Man by far, because Spider-Man was just like it was just a fresh take on him. So I'm excited for that. I'm definitely excited for Black Panther. And then Ant-Man. I'm excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp, because Ant-Man was funny. Seeing him as Giant Man was like a dream come true. And just like all three of those characters were great, but they're still the side dressing to basically Tony versus Steve. And the end is a little bit emotional, and it's due to the fact that Zemo reveals that Bucky killed Tony's parents and that Steve knew about it. So that's where you see that double team fight, and it's just an emotional fight. The end credits, no. You know what? It's just an emotional fight. That was his end plan, Zemo's plan. I may make another video, but I'm about to hit my 15-minute threshold. Maybe when I get used to doing these videos, I can do it better. But all in all, the movie was great. Um, yeah. Hopefully, I come back with another video, or if not, I will talk to you later. But yeah.